Welcome back, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of the Reconnection Space. And it is a cold, cold day here. So you will see that I'm back in the dining room rather than the clinic room because it's just nice and warm in here. But I today am joined by another fabulous guest. And this is just such a wonderful, wonderful guest that I'm going to be speaking to. I'm going to let her introduce herself because I want for you to be able to hear this person's really exciting news, and I think that's going to be great if she introduces herself. So over to you, my special guest. Tell everybody who you are and what your exciting news is.
Hi everyone. My name is Faye Jordan, and I'm a powerlifter at the moment. And I have recently won just this weekend the British Championships.
So we are over the moon. So Faye and I spoke on the phone a few weeks ago, and this competition was coming up. And you were talking about your hopes and the way you were preparing for it, and with that mindset that I know you've got. And here we are now, just a few days later, and you've got your title and your championship. So awesome work, Faye. We're just so pleased for you.
Thank you.
Now, so I wanted Faye to be able to share that news with you directly because it is so amazing. You'll see that Faye looks very cold where she is.
Freezing.
Yeah. So we're gonna get straight into the interview here. The reconnection space is the space that we come in which to share reconnection with ourselves, reconnection with our relationships and the world around us, and reconnection with that special moment that perhaps made a change in our world and in our life. And Faye has kindly agreed. And I never really know before people start talking which moment they're going to choose. And I know Faye's had some amazing moments that have gone on through her life. So, Faye, firstly, sort of tell people a little bit about what you do, because you've got your title, you are a powerlifter, but you've also got some other things going on. So tell everybody a little bit more about yourself.
So I run a gym in Milton Keynes, and it's primarily a strength gym, although we do other things as well. So some of my specialities in work-wise are training people that have medical conditions, people that have either had surgery or they've got long-term medical conditions and things like that. I also train powerlifters and strongmen, so it's people from all ends of the scale really, but usually people that are a little bit different. Not I do train sort of standard people that just want to get fit, but my speciality areas are kind of at either end of the scale a little bit, which I really enjoy, especially training people that are coming back from things in life where especially when a doctor has told them you won't be able to do this or you won't be able to do that, and I say, well, how about we just try them, and and even if they don't quite get to where they want to be, they get somewhere. And that's really awesome.
So we love that, because at Be More we're all about empowering people to really find that inner strength and what we call find their raw. That thing inside you that says, yeah, I'm just going to give it a go. I'm just going to see what happens, and this could be really good. And I don't have to be listening to anything that's coming in from outside. I can just focus on what I want to do. So that is absolutely amazing. Later in the interview, and obviously when we share this video, we will be posting all of Faye's contact details and her social media links. So do look out for them. So Faye, thank you for agreeing to share a reconnection moment with our viewers. I'm excited to hear, so I'm going to ask you, tell us a bit about your reconnection moment.
Okay, I think the most pivotal moment, I suppose, was just after my first son was born, and I'd been off work for a long time because I had been recovering from cancer. And so I was told I couldn't have children. I was told lots of things, which is one of the reasons why I do what I do now. And they told me that I wasn't going to be able to really do much, and giving birth to him kind of showed me that I could actually do more than I thought that I could do. I thought I was going to have a C-section. I didn't think I was going to be able to handle childbirth, and I didn't. I had him naturally. And before I'd had all the troubles in my early 20s, I trained to be a fitness instructor, and I'd worked in the gym, and I was very sporty, and I played rugby at quite a good level. And um, I kind of thought, well, if I can do this, what else can I do that they've told me that I can't do? And so I retrained as a fitness instructor and found a job in a local gym. And I think it was then that everything really changed, because I then started back on a path back to where I used to be. I mean, I can't do the cardio stuff that I used to do. I can't go running like I used to do. Certainly can't play rugby, although I'd love to, and occasionally get the inspiration and then think better of it.
Yeah.
And so I think it was then, and I got a job in a gym, and they actually employed me for the reason to work with people with medical conditions, and they put me through the course that enabling me to do that. And so I think it was that one manager there that said, I think you'd be brilliant at this. Especially with my background, because I could understand where people were coming from. People that walked in, they didn't just see a young, fit person sitting in front of them. I mean, I looked young and fit, but inside my body was very much still recovering.
Yeah.
And I think that's what that really changed my life, being able to do that and being able to come back to being fit and enjoying sport again in a completely different way to that I used to.
So, I mean, just to go through some of those points there, in terms of you contracted cancer when you're very young. So that's,
Yeah.
in your 20s, that's the time when people are just finding their feet and starting to explore all these different options. And as you say, you had a number of things that you were already achieving well at, and you were left with quite sort of severe physical side effects, weren't you?
Yeah, the treatment, the cancer I had was non-Hodgkin's lymphoma. So it wasn't anything that affected the bits that are broken now particularly, but it was all the side effects of the treatment and everything. My lungs are quite scarred, which is why I can't do the cardio things anymore, and they get quite aggravated through. I like how it's freezing at the moment. The cold weather aggravates them. I can't go running and things like that. It's just it puts me back for weeks if I do it, and there's just no point in even trying, because I have tried, and it's just, I've got to a level where I can't really do it anymore. I also lost the eyesight in my right eye and hearing in my right ear. So I had to learn to be able to balance properly again. Walking down steps was almost impossible because I didn't know how far apart they were. Even now, if I walk down a flight of stairs that is a slightly different depth to a normal flight, the amount of times that I nearly trip, it's silly because I'm just not used to it. You learn how to function with what you've got, and then when something slightly changes, you don't really notice until you come up against something like that. And now I kind of just laugh it off because it's been so long, you can't really do anything else. But back then it was quite difficult to be a 21-year-old that I couldn't walk along the pavement. My dad used to have to hold on to me because if there was a dip in the pavement, I wouldn't know and I'd fall over. And so it was quite hard back then. Now I just, now I don't really notice because I've lived with it so long.
Yeah. And I just think, just to let people really have that sink in, that the adjustments that you had to make. But on the other hand, showing that real resilience and that kind of thought of, I'm not going to be limited, and I love the fact that what I love is that, that you get this message that absolutely anything is possible, but you are such a lovely balance because you are very comfortable now to admit that you, like so many of us, have limitations, and what those limitations are, but by adhering to those limitations, you actually create a bigger life zone to live in, because you look after yourself and you treat yourself with respect. And then in all these other aspects, you've got this mindset of, I don't know, they're telling me I can't do it, but I don't know. So I'm just going to give it a go and I'm going to see. And powerlifting, it is not, I will be honest, the first thing that comes to mind when I think about an alternative career. So why powerlifting?
It kind of happened by accident, as these things often do. So I was working in a gym again, like I was, and everything kind of falls into it, it all mingles into one a little bit. But so I was working in the gym, I was working with people with medical conditions, I was being a gym instructor. I fell pregnant with my second son and had some time off whilst I was with him, and I started a personal training business. And I just recently done my personal training qualification back then.
Yeah.
And through that, I was working. So when he was born, I was doing a lot of antenatal and postnatal groups. And so I'd take the kids along with me. My oldest would go in the creche and the little one would lay on an exercise mat at the back of the room. And so I was doing that, and I was going to people's houses and doing PT in their living rooms. So usually ladies, but some guys.
Yeah.
And doing that, I'd take people for runs around the park, but because I couldn't run, I'd take my bike. So I'd just cycle and they would run. And so I'd be doing a lot of that. And I was loving it. It was really good. But it was too much for my still quite broken body. And I came down with viral meningitis, which I've actually had 3 times now, but that was the second time that I had it. And I was in hospital for quite a long time with it. And at that point I thought, you know what, I love this. I love doing what I'm doing, but I can't, like, my body's telling me that this is, you know, it's going to keep breaking if I keep pushing it in this way. So I decided to, on a whim, apply for a management position in a gym, which I didn't think I was actually qualified for, but you know, I felt that I could do it, and I thought I'd learn while I was going, and if you don't ask, you don't get, do you? So I applied for this job and I got it, and it was a great experience, and I hated a lot of it. I didn't like working for the corporate end very much, and but I did learn a lot when I was doing it. And I met somebody when I was there who's actually the father of my daughter. So I've got 3 children. He's the father of my daughter, and I met him there, and we opened a gym together. And the gym was based around everything that corporate gyms aren't. And we got into the strongman stuff. We enjoyed watching the strongman on the TV. Everyone probably watched that over at Christmas. Yeah. We got into that kind of thing. So on social media, we were looking at that kind of strength training, powerlifting training, that kind of thing. It was something that I found that I could do.
Right.
And then I just saw someone else's Facebook post that said that they'd done this competition. And it was somebody that I knew through the strongman stuff. We'd run a couple of little competitions and things like that.
Yeah.
And I saw her post and she said, I've just done this powerlifting competition. These are the numbers I lifted. I thought, cool, I could do that. So I just rocked up to one. I had no idea what I was doing at all. I didn't know the rules. I didn't know the clothes you had to wear. I knew nothing. I was so clueless. But I rocked up to this comp and actually did all right through some help from some very, very lovely people who took me under their wing on that day and realised that I didn't know what I was doing and guided me through the day. And I
just say I love that. I'm so glad that you've mentioned this, because I remember you telling me this when we were talking on the phone, and just thinking that takes some guts, doesn't it? That takes some real guts to just it's powerlifting, which kind of brings a vision anyway, and I'm just going to rock up and I'm just going to see what happens.
Yeah, kind of guts or stupidity. I'm not quite sure which one, but I know maybe a bit of both. But yeah, it was good. And I ended up doing that competition, then doing another one, and then getting an invite to represent England, which was a bit weird. I got this email and I didn't really I had to read it about 10 times because I wasn't quite sure what they were asking of me.
Yeah.
And then I suddenly realised, I was like, they're actually asking me to represent England. This is crazy.
This is big.
And it's just gone on from there, really. So yeah.
So I think it's the most amazing story. Just before we kind of start to bring the interview to the close, and again, I remember posting something on Facebook soon after I'd met you. I go to the gym, and I do my workout, and I get hold of those little silver barbells, things that you hold in your hand, and I think I picked one up that's got a 4 on it. That's about as much as I know, and I'm like, oh, I've done 10 of those on each arm. That's me done. I'm going to be ripped after this. What are your weights? What is it that you can actually do?
At the competition on Saturday, my squat was 142.5 kilos, which is my worst lift out of the 3. So I'm not very good at that. Everyone's better than me at that.
Okay.
And my bench press was 112.5 kilos, which I was really, really happy with. My bench is my best lift by far, and I'm looking to go to the World Championships this year, so that's very cool. And my deadlift was 155 kilos.
155
Yeah,
kilos. Now, for
which was
those,
also a personal best. So I was happy with that too.
for the oldies that are watching, okay, can you kind of convert that into something that we would understand, either pounds and or bodies or
155 kilos in stone, about 20, 30 odd maybe. Sorry, I'm just looking at my business partner who's over there, who might know these better than me. No, 30? More? Less? About 20 stone, we think, maybe something like that.
Stone. I mean, let's let you off a few pounds. You know, we don't have to get
heavy, like a big 6 foot odd person.
Yeah.
That something like that.
Oh my goodness, 20 stone. So that just shows, and I don't mean this in any way, but you're not big, aren't you? You know.
No, I compete in the under 63 kilo weight class, so that's about 10 stone. So I weigh in at about 10 stone for the comps, or just under.
You weigh less than I do, right? And you have all that muscle, and you just lifted 20 stone. So, you know, when I'm talking to you, my viewers, and we talk about getting reconnected, and we talk about finding your inner raw and that mentality and that mindset, Faye is nailing it. She's absolutely nailing it. So we have loved having you on as one of our guests. I can't wait to share this video. I know that it's just going to be amazing. How can people get in touch with you if they want to learn more about your business and what you do?
I'm on Facebook just as Faye Jordan. We can share the link on that. My website is championstrength.co.uk. So you can contact me on there. My bio's on there. That's my business, and my gym is in Bletchley in Milton Keynes.
Fantastic. So my final question, as always, to my guests, you know, just in a few words, tell us, what does reconnection mean to you?
It gives me something to drive for every day, to get up for. Really.
Love it. Thank you so much for being a guest on the Reconnection.
Thank you.
If you have loved the Reconnection space and our show here, then do remember to click on the all important like, and especially the subscribe button, because that way we will make sure that you never miss an episode. We've got more fabulous guests coming up. Thank you for supporting our project. And if you have a story that you think people would love to hear, get in touch, because we love to listen to more inspiring stories of reconnection. And we'll see you again soon. Take care. Bye-bye.